BaconBit.
Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to our BaconBit. What is this?
We're here
an
to
irregular BaconBit? What's going on here?
Sundance.
Thursday BaconBits are weird. Why are we doing
it's not exactly Thursday if you're not listening on a Thursday.
But it just seems weird to me to release a BaconBit on a Thursday.
Yeah?
Yeah. Are people going to want this?
Probably not. We're still doing it.
We're doing it.
And we've got a guest.
Yay!
We do. You know
on a
us.
BaconBit?
I know that. Well, we've done it before, but we have a very special guest returning. Someone that the fans have been craving for about 2 years. In fact, there was a petition.
Oh my gosh, you guys can see her too? I thought she was just like my imaginary friend.
Yeah, well, you have those.
Yeah.
But we actually...
This one's real?
We can see this one as
Okay,
well.
excellent.
Yeah.
In fact, we brought her for a very special reason. It's Emily.
You remember Emily? She was on our Shyamalan show. She was on our time travel show.
Stuck in a snow globe for a long time.
We're not going to
you're
bring
out.
that up.
Right.
We weren't going to talk about the Force Awakens show.
We're not.
Vindicated.
Emily,
Oh, here we go.
She's not wrong.
I mean.
for those of people who may not know who you are, who may not, they may have started Baconsale fairly recently. Give us a brief synopsis of who you are and how you know us.
It's been a while, so I am Emily. I've been referred to a lot on this show. I've been
true.
told.
Yeah. Wait, you don't listen? You don't listen?
Wow.
Emily.
I do.
Yeah, sure. No, we brought you up a ton in one of our most recent episodes, the Sundance
Which,
episode.
if there was any episode I should have been on in the last 2 years, it was that one.
That's why
because
you're
I
here
have a
now.
lot
That's
of
why you're here
Sundance
now.
Knowledge, but yes, Ken has a lot too, so it's fine.
Yeah, and Emily,
It's fine.
I mean, I have a lot of Salt Lake Sundance knowledge, but
He's perfectly
don't worry,
adequate
don't
at
worry about it.
Sundance.
Yeah.
Baconsale.
and Emily, I do have to say that one of my favorite things about Sundance is your recap of Sundance at moviesandmayhem.net, which is you give just very good insight into these movies that are out there, more so than maybe other people that go to Sundance and write blogs and are on this podcast.
Wow. Just
but-
throwing me under the bus like the three of you.
Hey, Joel. His reviews are perfectly adequate.
That's what I heard today.
Perfectly adequate. Yeah, actually, that's what I guess I should have said on my intro is that I've known Kent for a
Long time. Yeah.
Like 2000, 2001?
Yeah.
So,
2002, actually.
Just say 20 years.
Yeah, nearly
Whoa.
20 years.
yeah, nearly 20 years.
That's messed up. And then you go to Sundance, but you don't go like Kent with the frou-frou card and red carpet service.
I did this year.
What?
This was Emily's first year as an accredited press member.
Woo! But through that, I think I only saw like 2 or 3 extra movies
Yeah.
that way.
But you didn't
yeah,
pay as much.
I didn't pay as much. I saved,
And so
$75.
one of the things that she got to do, which we only took advantage of one day, was the press theater, where they just have movies that just play and you don't know if they're good or bad, but you kind of get in line and hope for the best.
Isn't that what Sundance is?
But you
Yeah,
don't
how
pay
is
at
that
all.
different?
But
Oh,
it's
okay.
and it's only press. Whereas every other screening is basically sold out.
Uh-huh.
This one may not be.
Because there may not be
Also,
enough press.
Critics are jerks.
Oh, yeah.
What?
They,
I mean, everyone
Super
knows this about
entitled.
me.
Breaking news on Baconsale.
People, like critics, had their phones out in critic
Laptops.
screenings.
all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are
That is
very
a breach of protocol.
Like-
Also, they left early before the movie was like they were like 20 minutes
Is
early.
it just
even.
is it just
being
movie
like, I can write a
saturation
review,
and they're
yeah.
like, who cares? Forget
they're
it.
playing the game.
Yeah.
These are really nationally syndicated critics that are with like big organizations, and what they're doing is playing the game of I'm going to watch most of this movie, but there's another movie starting downtown, so I need to get to that one. Or
That way
I've
they can
seen
talk about
enough.
I've
as
seen
many as
enough. I can
possible.
write a
Yeah.
review on it.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so they're playing the game. It's kind of gross. In fact, I'm like, these people made these movies so you'll give them buzz, and you're on your freaking phone.
Well,
What if they're giving a buzz on the phone?
Just imagine
Yeah,
a thing
They're
like,
like live tweeting.
imagine a thing like Sixth Sense is playing at Sundance, and they watch
Exactly.
like the first half hour, and then
Yeah.
they walk out.
I'm
and they're
good.
like,
I
that's
got
kind of
it. I
slow.
got the gist.
Didn't seem
Yeah.
like it was going anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, it's great, and they're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I got real triggered though.
Good.
But thankfully, Emily was there to enjoy it with me. In fact, so what we want to do on this show is not review every single movie we saw, but give the highlights. We want to talk about what we saw. 'Cause
Welcome
most
to
of
our
it was
first
together.
36-hour episode.
We have had an hour and 5-minute Bacon Bit before.
I think that our roster was like hour 15.
No longer
Mercy.
a bacon bit.
We're going to do it maybe 30, 40 minutes. Let's try for that.
Okay.
But we're going to get some highlights and lowlights and some in the middle.
And Jake
excited.
and I are going to sit here and say,
Yeah, these are
Sounds
movies you've
interesting.
never heard of. Some of them might not ever see
Me
light
never
of day.
seen.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
so-
So do you guys want to start
Like that,
with
Joel?
the middle, the best, or the worst?
let's go worst to first.
Worst to first.
I'm in.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have the same worst?
No, we don't.
We don't?
No.
Okay. I thought we did.
Emily doesn't even need notes.
Emily, tell us what movie, and I will give the synopsis.
My worst, and I was really excited about this movie, was Tesla, starring Ethan Hawke.
Well, is this a car reference?
He plays Nikola Tesla.
Oh,
So-
like David
intriguing
Bowie
life.
did in The Prestige.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was
This-
excited about that because I was
This
like,
sounds
I
promising,
love The Prestige.
honestly.
Ethan Hawke is in Tesla. So it's the intriguing life of Nikola Tesla.
Oh, no, you started at the worst.
A young man in NYC or New York City. He rises through industry in a constant competition with Thomas Edison in an attempt to create the perfect power source for a growing nation.
So it's a biopic.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was super excited about
And
it.
this is on your worst?
It was easily, like,
But
hands
why?
down. It was so dull. I fell asleep like pretty early on.
So wait,
you
hold on.
Wait,
just got after all those critics for leaving after 5
I
minutes.
woke up. I woke
Everyone,
up. Okay.
not all heroes wear capes. Emily is like 9.5 months pregnant right now. It's crazy. The doctor's like, don't go to Sundance. She's like, I need to. Baby, stay in there. And she like her feet are hurting.
Yeah,
It's hard to
swelling up.
move. And she still came to like a
Waddling
dozen
around
movies.
Park City, just
And so
trying to
if
see
she
what I
needed a
can.
nap, I'm like, yeah, you do your thing. I'll tell you what happened. But
I was only asleep for I think 5 minutes.
Yeah.
On that one, honestly.
But
'Cause he didn't
Tesla-
even notice.
Tesla was this experience where Ethan Hawke, I thought, did a very good performance.
Yeah.
But they kept it so much on the cheap that all of their backgrounds were fake, like canvas sheets. Like when he's walking through, like the valley.
Intentionally so? Like
Intentionally
artistically?
so.
They were trying to set themselves apart by being super stylistic and like breaking the fourth wall constantly with just like
Which
really,
was funny for me
But
for
then
a
it
time.
got old really
There was a
fast.
narrator, so his love interest, and I say that because there's no real passion in this movie at all.
No.
She is narrating, and she goes, if you Google Nikola Tesla right now, you'll find this and this, and then you're like, Google?
But
what?
if you Google Thomas Edison, he's got way more results. Like literally, like that's how.
Like
the
they're
movie
talking at
was.
the bar, and Edison pulls out his phone. You're like, okay, I'm confused, and it's
was-
funny. And there's a music video at the end of Everybody Wants to Wants to Rule the World.
What?
And
He does a karaoke scene at the very end of the movie for no reason.
and it's
They have
meant
an
to
ice
be
cream fight.
comical.
Do I need to Google when karaoke entered the U.S.? Because I'm pretty sure that's anachronistic.
He invented it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
It's Japanese
But-
invented it.
So missed potential. Ethan Hawke in a better movie as Tesla would be awesome.
Yeah.
But not this one.
It just was like this Wikipedia page trying to come to life and be interesting, but it couldn't have been.
So it's
more
Bohemian
lifeless.
Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, is this your worst as well?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I only give that one a C because I did like Ethan Hawke so much.
Yeah, you are kind of infatuated.
I really, really am.
Yeah.
My least favorite movie, it's one I actually kind of hated. It's called Scare Me. And I shouldn't hate it because listen to the synopsis. During a power outage, two strangers tell scary stories. The more Fred and Fanny commit to their tales, the more the stories come to life in their Catskills cabin. The horrors of reality manifest when Fred confronts his ultimate fear. So he is an aspiring writer, and he's like, I'm going to go to the cabin in the woods to write a story.
Where are the Catskills?
It's in upstate New
York?
No, I
Oh.
think it's in Washington.
Oh, gosh.
It's somewhere in the States.
Continental United
I thought-
States.
It's New York.
You're good. It's
Okay.
New York, yeah.
I remember
Okay.
them mentioning that. And so this writer who is a bestseller, there's a power outage. She comes and they say, let's tell scary stories.
Like Mary Shelley.
And as they do, the sound effects start coming in. There are some cool creature effects too. And you're like, I like
They
where
play
this
with
is
the
going
voices
because
a
this could
lot.
be really funny and scary. And it is played 100% for laughs. In fact, it loses all of its edge. It's a comedy. There is no horror here except for a really rushed ending.
So they're trying to go for like Evil Dead?
No, not even that.
Not even that. Not
Okay.
even that.
Did
It's more like an improv show.
It
Honestly.
really was.
Like where
Man,
they're
I
kind of
hate
like
those.
Oh, man. That bad? Wow.
Improv is good, but when you have a movie about improv,
Yeah.
where the stories really go nowhere, and you're like, you had a movie to write. Why didn't you finish that story? Why wasn't it scary? And honestly, there are character types. There's one super feminist that hates all white straight men, and then there's him being a straight white man who's as dumb
Very
as a bag of
fragile
rocks.
ego, yeah.
You know, and they're character types, and I hated it.
Because you're a white straight man.
Yeah, I just triggered.
I was going to ask you guys, by the way, Ken, how many movies total did you end up seeing this last time?
11.
11 movies.
Yes, 11 movies.
12.
And you said, Emily wins.
Yes.
Kent would have seen another, but he went on a date.
I did go on a date. Yeah. Yeah.
We would have been even. But
So how many movies in common did you have?
Most of them. I think
almost
all but two.
All but two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys both saw both the movies
Well,
you just
I-
talked about.
Yeah, so I saw that one too, and I was really looking forward to this one. I thought it was a great concept, but it was total missed potential. And if they had leaned more into this character-driven story and actually embraced the horror element of it, where like you kind of learn more about each person between each story they tell. It could have been like really, really great.
Yeah.
But they just, it's like you were watching it an hour, 20 minutes into it, you're like, do they realize that like something needs to actually happen in this movie?
What needed
They're
to
just
happen
telling
is their
the
stories
whole time.
actually needed to come to life
Yeah.
and
Like
a scary
terrorize
story
them.
still in the dark kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, either
Okay.
that or like you actually are learning more like these people can't be trusted. Like they're total strangers. Like they could be dangerous to each other.
Or that she is actually a murderer and she lured him
exactly.
there
Yeah.
to
Or
tell
that
scary
he
stories
is-
and steal everything. Like
Yeah.
it goes nowhere. And of course, like every Sundance movie this year, there is a 15-minute drug trip that they show for some reason.
Yeah.
You're like, cut it out of the movie. Can I be your final editor, please? Get rid of this right now.
And then, like he said too, both of the characters were these total stereotypes of just the most annoying people you can imagine on Twitter. Where there's like,
Yeah, that's true.
That's what they were. Like
Yeah.
they were like a Twitter feed come to life, where they weren't real
Ew,
people.
that's scary.
Yeah, for real. Like they were just like kind of these like blue check mark obnoxious people who like to hear themselves talk, and so it's just
Like
like
Knives Out.
They were so unlikable. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really was. It was like Knives Out.
I
Yeah.
like Knives
And
Out.
so-
Yeah. Okay,
But,
we
yeah.
spent a lot of time on these.
Yeah.
Do we want to skip a lot of the ones that people may never hear
Well,
about?
I'd like to hear, was there any like huge misses, like swung big, or any
Well,
like
Tesla
weird
is that for me,
plots,
but-
or
yeah,
like kind of in the
There's
middle
no
ones?
Coco D.
Well,
Coco
Clean
Does.
Air. Oh,
So Scare Me and Tesla are both your bottom picks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's what the problem was. Emily and I, we chose mostly horror because that's our genre
Yeah.
of choice.
So there was no like Daniel Radcliffe, the farting lifeboat thing.
hey,
I wish.
that movie's pretty great.
I freaking wish there were.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
this year, like, we went and saw all these horror films, and we're like, okay, it's slow burn. I'm into this. Hereditary and The Witch did the same thing. Surprise me. And then they get to the end, and you're like, oh, a high concept movie about mental illness. Okay. And they
Joker?
They kind of go nowhere. The Joker, but not good or entertaining.
Okay.
In fact, there were some, like Relic, for example, which is a movie about dementia. And the end of the movie, the last 10 minutes, is so cool because the house becomes a labyrinth to represent what dementia does to a mind.
Oh.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
But it takes about an hour and 45 minutes to get there, and there are no scares before that. It's
And
really a
as-
sad story about taking care of your grandma.
And as I said, that was, in my defense, this one was a midnight show, but I could not stay awake for the
Wait,
life
no,
of
you
me.
say
That one-
midnight show. We talked about before how midnight could mean like a category and it can mean a time.
Right.
This is an actual movie
It was
at
an actual
midnight.
movie at midnight, and so I kept falling asleep because nothing was happening. Literally, nothing was happening.
Yeah.
I'm
So I kept
sensing a
waking
theme
up.
here of Emily falling asleep.
She did pretty good. 9.5 months pregnant.
I think
So
that's the
12
only other
movies
one.
is actually like 11 and a quarter.
But that one basically I self-edited. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So I was like,
okay.
him and my husband were both like so bored out of their minds with that movie, and I was like,
You're like, that
I
was so
kept
bad.
waking up for all the good
They
scares.
skipped right to
and
the
I
good
was
stuff.
like- yeah, I was like, hey, this isn't that bad.
But what they do at Sundance for these horror films, it can't be a straightforward scary movie. It needs to be something like there's an immigration
artful.
story about, like, there's one called His House, where two Sudanese immigrants, they're in the UK, and they are placed in a home just to see how they live there as asylum seekers. And they can't leave this place. They're put there by the state, and they literally can't leave, and it's haunted.
They can't leave, or they'll lose their citizenship.
They'll lose their
chance of
citizenship, and it's haunted. So they're like, get us out of here, but we can't run away at the same time.
Terrifyingly haunted.
Yes.
It was
Actually,
this-
really good creature designs.
Yeah, the scares in
his
that one.
house?
His
Yeah.
house.
Is that one going to get
And
picked up?
It'll be on Netflix.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
yeah?
really
It'll be
soon.
there soon, yeah.
But that's not the only house movie, but we're going to talk about that in our favorites. There was also like an Indonesian horror movie that's basically Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but in Indonesia.
In a cursed village. Really
Yeah.
cool lore in that one. Like,
Yeah.
but the scares.
But there's some
you could
creepy
see a mile
baby
away,
stuff
and it's
in
just
that
like-
one that I told you about, Joel. Remember?
And being pregnant, I was a little like, "Ah."
Yeah. So do you guys want to hear about favorites?
Yeah.
Some
Yes, yes,
surprises
let's do
we
it.
had?
Yeah.
So let's, Emily, do you want to talk about Night House? And I can give the synopsis.
Wait, so we
if
have
you'd like.
Night House and His House?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
A
little
lot of house
confusing.
action here.
All right. Into House?
Are you wanting to give
Yeah, so
the
Night House
synopsis?
stars Rebecca Hall as a widow who begins to uncover her recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the last couple of years with Sundance, they've been really great at providing some great horror movies.
Absolutely.
So it's like we kind of go over the horror section each year, and we're like, which one's going to be the next Hereditary or The Witch? Which one's going to be it? You know. So that's why we saw so many horror ones this year, because we were almost like, which one is it going to be?
Yeah.
You know. And so for me, we're kind of debating. Maybe I think it's Night House. Maybe you think it's His House. One of the houses. I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's
one of the houses.
I don't know which house I'd rather
His
not
house,
stay
Night
in.
House. Yeah, but for this one, like I saw it in the Egyptian Theater in Park City, which was really cool, a midnight show that I I did fall asleep for a second, but there was this jump scare that actually like lulled me awake like it did the character because it was so loud.
The loudest scary movie we've ever
It was one
seen.
of the loudest scary
Night
movies.
Houses?
Yeah.
And it was super effective. Very, very creepy.
There were jump scares, but there was like meaning behind the jump scares, but it was so loud.
And it was like, it just jerked me awake. And then I was like, okay, movie, you've got my attention. I will not fall asleep again.
Okay,
Like,
I now have a baby in my arms. It scared me.
I just woke up and there's a baby here.
Yeah, it was really intense. Rebecca Hall gives a really fantastic performance.
Rebecca Hall. What do we know her from?
Do we get
Prestige,
synopses
The Wife,
here?
Yeah, I
Christian
just
Bale.
did. She's a widow who tries to find out more about her deceased husband.
Wait, what? Because I got the houses mixed up here. Did we
His
get
house
both?
is the Sudanese immigrants that have to stay in the house.
Okay.
Yes.
Night House, her husband commits suicide.
Yes.
And she kind of is going through, she kind of starts getting haunted in the middle of the night. And then she kind of decides to like look more into his past.
Just
and
to sell Night House a little bit.
Okay.
They do this thing where there's like a shadow, something that's kind of following Rebecca Hall in this movie, and they mess with the architecture of
It's
the house,
really cool.
where it looks like a shadow, like
Or
a
a
face, a
person.
profile, and then all of a sudden the camera moves, and it was just a pillar or a banister or something, and you're like, oh my word! And obviously it is something watching
Right.
her. It's something in the room, but they actually make it reality based, and
And
it
like
is-
how kind of like in real life, how you're watching something, you're like, what is
And you
that?
see something
all
out of the
of a sudden-
corner of your eye.
all of a sudden you
Yeah,
realize what it is. You're
exactly.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
it's masterful. Actually, I love that.
this was the one Sundance movie that I wanted, like, I needed more time with.
Night
Like,
House 2
Night House 2, yeah.
and Ending.
Well, there was like
The
a lot
Day
of
House.
plot lines where you're
2022.
like, I really think that there's so much more I want to know about this. But whereas every other movie was like, this needs to be 20 minutes shorter. You know?
Yes.
But this one, it
then you
left
wouldn't
you
be able to
wanting.
nap.
Yeah, exactly. It left me wanting more for sure.
But
And I
this
can't
one,
wait to see it again.
It was sold for $12 million, and so we'll see this one by probably August or September of this
Well,
year.
do you know who bought it? Like where it's going to go?
Was it Searchlight? I think it was Searchlight.
Disney Searchlight.
So it's going to be not
Yeah.
on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
but
Hulu probably, because they don't dare
Plus.
put this kind of stuff on
It
Disney
was
Plus.
A little adult for Disney Plus, I
Sure.
think.
So, Emily, did you want to talk about Promising Young Women or Shirley, or both of them?
Okay, well, Shirley, I feel like the things to be said about it aren't family friendly, so maybe I'm gonna skip that one.
Oh, I'll just say this: it's about Shirley Jackson, correct?
Shirley
it's-
Jackson?
Yeah, she wrote
Novelist, The
House
Haunting.
on Haunted,
Or the
Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, yeah.
that's right.
Wait,
So-
it's a movie about her?
Yeah.
It's a biopic.
So it's a famous
But
horror writer finds inspiration for her next book after she and her husband take in a young couple, and it stars Elizabeth Moss as Shirley.
Yeah, it's
Man.
it's more about. I would almost compare it to like a Shakespeare in Love type experience.
Where it's like the experiences in the real life inspire the stories.
Yes, where it's kind of more like that. And so I kind of thought it would be more of a stuffy like period piece, but it kind of was told a little bit like Brooklyn, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So like I thought it was really refreshing and really
Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, starring
just making sure.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah, basically
Right.
the same thing.
But
anyway.
it was, like it's about this young couple that moves into the house, and she's like this recluse who's just totally rude, and you kind of see it more from the couple's perspective than hers almost, and then it's kind of about this bond that's kind of created between the young wife and Shirley,
Okay.
and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
With
And then
that-
this isn't coming to Disney Plus.
No.
I don't think many of these movies will. Promising Young Women is a
Woman.
woman. Oh, it's a woman singular.
Just one.
Yeah.
Just
Promising
one.
Young Little Women.
The rest of them are not,
Yeah.
they're not going anywhere.
Oh, wow. A promising young woman, traumatized by a tragic event in her past, seeks out vengeance against those who crossed her path.
So this is kind of like people were
Carrie Mulligan in this
calling
one.
this the
Yeah.
female Joker, if you will. You know?
Okay.
Which it will be widely accepted.
Isn't that Harley Quinn?
Haha, next show. I mean,
Yeah, listen tomorrow.
no. So she's basically, she had this kind of tragedy happen in her past. She dropped out of school, and you learn a little bit more about it as it goes on. And she kind of becomes this vigilante, teaching men lessons about consent.
Ah.
So going
So
into
this
it,
is a lighthearted family fair.
very
Disney
lighthearted.
Plus
Actually,
this September.
surprisingly, I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be super, super just dark, but it actually has a lot of elements of black comedy in it. So
Okay.
like, there's like a lot of. It was really weird because early on I was hearing the audience laugh, and I was just kind of like, "Why are you guys laughing at this? This is." But it kind of plays into that a lot, and so it kind of walks this kind of tightrope line of like swinging between comedy and kind of horror in a way, and,
Yeah.
and so like it was really
So
well done.
it's not like Girl in the Dragon Tattoo dark.
No,
Thank goodness,
because
no.
it definitely has like this like these parts of humor where you're almost like, I can't believe she would do this, and then there's actually kind of this romance that's kind of intertwined.
I
into it.
imagine
It's,
like
really
I Spit on Your
interesting,
grave, but lighthearted.
I actually haven't seen that. So
Okay, it's horrifying.
Yeah, but
It's awful, but basically she gets revenge on everybody.
like some of I mean, early on, I kind of expected it to be a little more dark in a way, because like I kind of thought it would be like, I don't know if I should spoil things or not.
No, we'll leave it there.
But yeah, like it's really good though. It was really well made, and like there were certain points though where I was like not sure if certain decisions would pay off, and then I'm like, okay, that totally did. You know what I mean? And it definitely made me feel like a little sick to my stomach, and then you kind of just had to go with it and see where it was going to take you. But I
Sounds like most Sundance movies from what I hear.
a little bit.
So one that was really mysterious came out of nowhere, like all of these, but it's called 9 Days. Synopsis is
It's the sequel to Kevin Spacey's movie, right?
and it's
9 Lives?
the prequel to 28 Days.
And it's
28 days
about
later.
the band who wrote the one-hit wonder Story of a Girl.
I was going to that one next.
Story of a girl.
That actually was one of my first albums that I ever bought, like in junior high.
Wow.
One hit wonder, right?
Yeah. But they have a song called Emily, just so you know.
Okay, well, two hit wonder apparently. So this one is a reclusive man conducts a series of interviews with human souls for a chance to be born. What? This is the weirdest freaking movie.
What?
All you should know, never watch a trailer of this movie. Just watch it when it finally comes out, because I walked into this one as a total surprise. One of the things I love about Sundance is not seeing a trailer. And you have Winston Duke, who plays the father on Us. He's also M'Baku in Black Panther.
Okay.
And he is this very just straightforward, no nonsense guy he watches like 12 TVs in his house, and they're on the wall. They're old
Videotapes.
switch dial TVs, and you'll like record them on VHS, and you see people live their lives.
From their own perspectives, too. You know?
Yeah, and it's all POV, and you're like, what is going on here? And the movie is full of exposition. That's the whole movie. But what he is doing is, this is before anyone is born, he screens them for 9 days. And so he'll interview 6 people roundabout to have the
How
chance.
much can a newborn do in 9 days?
Well, that's the thing. They're like Tony Hill, who played Buster in Arrested Development, Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise, and let's see, Zazie Beetz, who was the
interesting.
Joker.
Are they playing
It's
themselves?
Incredibly interesting. No, they're like, hey, I don't really know anything, but
They've
we're
never
just
been
going to
to
have
Earth.
this
They're these
conversation.
souls. They want to have their chance at life.
And he'll give them real world scenarios and say, how would you act in this scenario? And they'll be like this and this. And he'll be like, okay, you're not right.
So it's like it's a job
this.
interview to come to Earth.
yes,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Is there
It
music in it?
Yeah, it's
I've
actually
seen that
Saturday's
smile
Warrior.
from where before.
There you go.
I've heard your voice before.
Yeah, it is about that premortal existence.
The theology is a little, different, but at the same time, you don't see movies like this.
Yeah.
You just
it was
don't.
really, really unique.
And it's not even hard to follow.
What was that one called again?
It's called 9
9
Days.
9 days. Okay.
And it's stunningly
Is this going
beautiful.
to be released? Is this bought?
I believe
Wait,
so.
was it?
I would hope so.
It was my favorite movie of the festival.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's my favorite movie as well.
Did it get a lot of buzz?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For acting
it
especially.
did win one of the awards at the awards show, just barely. I can't remember which one.
So did Tesla, by the way.
So did Tesla.
Yeah.
But I think, but
Yeah.
can I just say that Ethan Hawke was on the jury, so that's a little bit like biased.
He's like, one vote.
But yeah, this one was my favorite too. It was incredibly unique, incredibly beautiful, honestly. And as someone who is 9.5 months pregnant, it made
10
me
now, by the way.
10 now, as we were
Been a long
doing this
bacon
podcast.
bit.
yeah.
It made me cry and sob, just like being like, "It's so great
This-
that we have a chance to come to Earth, and my baby's just gonna
Filmed,
be."
it was filmed in
But it
Utah?
was-
Yeah.
yeah, it was. So it was
Salt
filmed on the
Flats.
Salt Flats. But it was really a beautiful celebration of life.
Totally.
But also, like, the thing too that he kind of didn't mention is he watches these videos over and over again, almost to like pick apart his own choices. Like, did I make the right choice with this person? Like, I don't know if they didn't really deserve it. It's because he doesn't want to make a mistake again. Because he just so he wants to be so careful with each person that he picks. That he's like, okay,
He's like a guardian
analyze their
angel
lives,
that can't
make
really
sure.
affect someone's life. It just kind of screens as it goes and takes notes.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's so interesting.
it was really, really fascinating and really beautiful.
And I think the last one we should mention is like the biggest selling movie in Sundance history by 69 cents. Very appropriate for these guys.
Yeah.
Nice. It's Palm Springs, which was made by Andy Samberg and his Lonely Island gang, basically. And so the synopsis is, when carefree Niles and reluctant maid of honor Sarah have a chance encounter at a Palm Springs wedding, things get complicated as they are unable to escape the venue themselves or each other. Groundhog Day. This is a Groundhog Day concept.
Oh.
Which I have to
Wait,
say,
how much did it sell for then?
$0.5 million plus 69 cents.
Just to
They honestly, like, I
Yeah.
watched the interview with Andy Samberg about it, and he said they came up with this offer, the amazing offer, and they told us it's the highest offer that we've ever gotten at Sundance. And they said it was like 5 a.m. We were kind of wired, and we said, what if we do like $1 more? And it's like, what if we do 69 cents more? And they're like, yes! So like this
Weirdos.
5 a.m. bro movement.
It really was.
I have to say, like, when I follow the buzz throughout the festival to kind of find out, like, okay, which movies do I need to try and see? I heard early on that this had this Groundhog Day concept, because it didn't really come across that way from the Sundance's preview page.
Yeah, the explanation, sure.
Yeah, it just seemed like more of a conventional romantic comedy. And once I heard that it kind of had this Groundhog Day concept, I was like, oh, can people just come up with something original already? I think that if you...
So wait, did you guys watch this though?
Yes.
We did,
You
yeah.
did, okay.
I feel like if you kind of have to compare your movie to another movie to explain the plot, that's never like a great thing.
It's not.
You know?
But it's also how we relate things.
It's true. But so I was well, I'm just saying, like, I was pretty disappointed when I heard that. However, they are great. It's a great movie because they do a couple of things to differentiate from it, where it almost feels more like a spiritual sequel
Yes.
to Groundhog Day than like a remake of it.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, he doesn't he.
So you
is
guys liked it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was-
You liked
it
an Andy
was really
Samberg
charming.
movie.
Yeah, a lot.
Hold on. Let me take a picture of this.
Take a picture of me going, fine.
You with Andy
I
Samberg.
liked it.
For one thing, he's well into the time loop. You don't see him like discovering it. Like
Yeah, there's
you
no
do.
like, wait, it's the same day again? He's
Yeah.
like, I hate my life. I'm back again.
He's
But
like, I don't know how to
obviously,
get out of this. This is one of those time loop
and
situations.
he's
that we've
been
seen.
there, and spoiler alert, probably thousands of times at this point. He has gone nuts at this point, and he is there to just mess with this wedding day, and everyone hates weddings already. And so this is the worst possible day to repeat. And there are other elements that twist the format, the Groundhog Day format, enough to make this totally worth watching.
I think it's okay to say one of them, which is that he kind of sucks her into it.
Yeah.
So like it's
Two people experience the same day.
So
instead
you sure
of
it's not
one,
And
like
learning.
live, marry, repeat, something like that?
live, die,
Kind of,
repeat.
except for the married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at a wedding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of more mirrors relationships and marriage in a way, of the monotony of kind of going through, but having someone to do it with makes it better,
Yeah.
And it's crazy because there's depth here. This is a crass comedy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Andy Samberg being in his normal movies again. But near the end, you're like, wow, there's layers to this guy. Kristen Milioti. Kristen Milioti, who was the mother on How I Met Your Mother,
That was one of the reasons why I really wanted to
is
see
the
this.
shining star of this movie.
She's great.
I hated that ending.
I know,
yeah, but,
but
she's
still.
great.
I know.
Yeah,
That's the reason I hate the ending is
That's why I
because
hate
we
it
liked
too,
her.
because she was so great.
She's
In How I Met Your Mother.
so dynamic in this movie. In fact, this should be a star-making performance.
I hope so, because she was great, and they had really good chemistry.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. And J.K. Simmons,
He shows up as well.
He shows up as well, and is
Never a bad thing.
he's hilarious. So
But yeah, go
Get
see this one.
Spider-Man.
None of these were A quality for me. The Sundance goggles were actually
I would say 9 Days is close.
to an A minus or A.
I mean, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, highest I gave was a B plus. So
But I thought that was really beautiful.
I like that you do the numbers. Makes me happy.
I know.
stop it. You're gone. Get out of here.
So, what were the biggest winners at Sundance? The ones that got the biggest buzz? Are these ones as well, or were the ones that you guys didn't include?
I would say it's Palm Springs. 9 Days got a lot, but then there's one called Minari, and it stars Stephen Yeun. From The Walking Dead fame. So the synopsis is a Korean family moves to Arkansas to start a farm in the
Arkansas.
1980s. And yeah, this one got the
It would
grand
have been
jury.
horrible if you guys had said Kansas and it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Arkansas. Would have ruined the whole
Arkansas.
movie.
It's got Kansas in the name.
So it got the audience vote and the grand jury, which makes it's kind of like getting Best Picture and Best Director at the same time at the Oscars. Like this is the one that you should be seeing at some point,
So this one
unless
was
like the
picked up?
director gets into trouble, like Birth of a Nation.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the one that they'll push more towards Oscar season because it's a very touching movie.
Okay. Whereas Andy Samberg's probably coming out in the next month or
Summer.
two.
Yeah,
I would
probably
say.
summer because
This
it
is-
just feels like a fun summer movie.
Okay.
Yeah, total summer movie.
Yeah. Okay, but that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, like we said, over around a dozen movies, both of us. And Emily's about to have her baby right now, so we should probably let her
I gotta
go.
go to the hospital.
Okay, and yeah, so that's it. But we will see you guys tomorrow for our next big review.
What?
Yeah.
you've got my attention. I will not fall asleep again.
Okay,
Like,
I now have a baby in my arms. It scared me.
I gave
I just woke
birth
up and there's a
right
baby
there.
here.